This is what happens when you're using a stack of pillows as a tripod. How's that? Is that better? How do we look? Why, hello there, friends. It's Emma here, the Bookish Princess. I have a lovely cup of coffee and a lovely stack of books, and I'm finally going to give you all fill in on what I've been reading. I did a reading vlog for, oh gosh, was it April and May? Anyway, I was thinking I tried to keep them as like 2-month reading vlogs, so I was like, oh, we're, nearing the end of July. I'll do a June and July reading wrap up. It's almost August. How crazy is that? And I was gonna film it at my farmhouse. You will notice I am not at my farmhouse. I realized I was planning to stay at this bed and breakfast just for a one-night little getaway, and I had seen the pictures online. I knew it was gonna be super cute, so I was like, wait a minute. What if I bring the books? I'll get up early, we'll film a quick little reading wrap up in such lovely surroundings. I have been traveling quite a bit this summer. I did post a little beach vlog from a trip to Asbury Park, New Jersey. That was such a fun day out on the sand with the ocean and the waves. I posted a Substack blog about it as well. If you haven't yet, make sure you go check out my Substack. It's bookishprincess.substack.com. I post these videos here, the videos that you see on YouTube, I post them on Substack as well. And then I also do a nice little written piece because I love to write, so it's really fun to have that space to play with words a little bit more and just to get away from the algorithm and like the scrolling that YouTube can sometimes suck you in, whereas Substack, they send every post to your email. So I feel like it's a little bit more like a newsletter, and it's a little bit, I don't know, just easier to fight the fight against technology and social media encroaching into our minds. I wrote about this back on Substack around the end of Lent. I'm trying to find better rhythms online and to prioritize my energy in real life, and that's what I've been doing. That's why you haven't seen me quite as much with new uploads, but I have been having such a lovely summer and doing so many fun things. I went to the beach. I also went into DC again. I was there to see the cherry blossoms earlier in the spring, but this time around I went to the Botanic Gardens. They were absolutely incredible. I think maybe I'll have a little section at the end of this video as like summer travels, and then this section of the video will be summer reads. The bed and breakfast I'm in today is called Dolan House. It's in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, which I have actually been here before. My brother and I came and did like a little hike here, and one of the mansions, it's called not the Asa Packer, the Harry Packer Mansion, is supposed to be one of the inspirations for Haunted Mansion at Disney World. So yes, now we're back in Jim Thorpe. Dolan House is actually another historic mansion that you can stay in. I'm getting like so much decor inspiration from this room, like the fireplace, how cute is that? And just like the blue and the giant round mirror. Now I'm trying to think how I could incorporate a giant round mirror into my space at home. Anyway, let's get into the books. Okay, so one fun new tradition I've been doing whenever I travel anywhere, at the bookstores that I visit, I try to find a new Pelican Shakespeare. And I have a couple already, but the newest edition is Measure for Measure. I just absolutely love, 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 love these covers. And this one feels very summery because look, it's got like an octopus on the back. I love it. I have read this before, but it's been quite a while. So definitely feeling like I'm gonna need to pick it up again. And then the other thing, the other bookstore purchase, which, see, I don't really need to be collecting multiple different books. Like whenever I go to a bookstore, that's not a good idea. But another series that I love are these Everyman Pocket Poets. What are they called? Everyman Library Pocket Poets. They're so beautiful, and like the spines, when you line them up at the bookstore I was visiting, they had so many different editions, so many different poets, and of course all the spines look so fabulous because each of them has a different design on the edge. This is Emerson, which Alcott April was just earlier this year, and I was just learning more and appreciating more Louisa May Alcott's friends, Thoreau and Emerson. And I realized I did not have a volume of Emerson poetry, so had to rectify that. I have some books here that I bought, oh gosh, when did I get them? Way earlier in the spring. From Thrift Books, I got a G.K. Chesterton, The Club of Queer Trades. I've like tried to start this like 5 times, and then I always get distracted with something else. But it does sound really quirky, and even just from the first couple pages, like I've already been underlining things here. What passage did I underline here? Every detail points to something, certainly, but generally to the wrong thing. Facts point in all directions, it seems to me, like the thousands of twigs on a tree. It's only the life of the tree that has unity and goes up, only the green blood that springs like a fountain at the stars. Oh, you gotta love G.K. Chesterton at his like quirky philosophical best, and it seems like in this book he definitely is that. The Club of Queer Trades is like a gentleman's club in London, kind of like the Drones Club in P.G. Wodehouse, but the shtick is that everyone who joins it has to earn their living, I think, in like a completely new way. Like they have to have invented a new trade and actually earn a living by it. So it sounds like such a fun premise. The other Thrift Books book, which I'm happy to report I did actually read. See, I hate having books that I haven't read on my shelves. Like it sort of makes me feel guilty and like I can't buy any more new books because I need to read those books first. I was telling you guys about this in my spring reading vlog when I ordered these. So I bought this Mary Stuart mystery, which you can see the cover already came off on this one. It's Touch Not the Cat. I thought the one that I was ordering online was this really pretty edition. I checked the ISBN carefully to confirm it was the one that I wanted. The book that they sent me, this mass market paperback, was not the same ISBN. So I emailed them, they were very nice. They were like, we'll send you the correct, we'll send you the ISBN you ordered for this book, Touch Not the Cat. And they sent me this one. This is also not the correct ISBN. This is like a different edition. And then they emailed me back and were like, I'm sorry, we don't have that edition in stock. Actually, we'll refund you. So now I have 2 copies of Touch Not the Cat, neither of which are the ones that I wanted. Luckily, I did really like this Mary Stuart. Mary Stuart, which one was it? My brother Michael, my cousin Michael, I really disliked that one. Sometimes she gets really dark, just upsetting. The Michael one I remember was upsetting. But a lot of the ones that I've read, Thorny Hold, Rose Cottage, I've read a lot. I've read quite a few of hers, and many of them are just fine. But I'm just always a little nervous, and Touch Not the Cat does have some kind of more mature themes because one of the ancestors of the girl, who's the heroine, did not behave very well, and you do get some flashbacks to that. So I didn't love that part, and at first I was a little worried that would overshadow the whole book. Yeah, that was a fairly small part of the story, and I felt like overall I still enjoyed it. There was still lots to like. This edition, I actually kind of do love this edition because look at Mary Stuart and her cat. Touch Not the Cat, there is this cat mosaic and kind of cat theme that goes throughout that I really love. There's an ancient Roman mosaic. There's lots of reference to the history of this family. It's about this family in England. They're kind of down on their luck. They rent their giant castle to these wealthy Americans because they can't afford to keep it up. It's all kind of falling into ruins. Bryony is the main character, and her father has just died. And it looks like an accident, but she doesn't think it's an accident. I'll read the back of the book to you. She had the gift of the Ashleys, the power of thought transference, ESP. Bryony had known of it since childhood. She had been getting messages for years. It was always the same voice, a dear voice, a man's voice. It was years before she was to discover whose voice it was and whose love she was waiting for. Now it was telling her something she did not want to hear, telling her that something terrible had happened, something about her father. It was too late when Bryony arrived at Ashley Court. Her father was dead, the victim of a strange hit-and-run accident, but his last words had been for her, to warn her she too was in danger. That sort of ESP element was such an interesting theme, and I thought on the whole, Mary Stuart dealt with it well. Bryony goes and talks to her pastor about it at one point, and that was probably my favorite scene. I felt like that kind of rooted it. I'm trying to keep this relatively quick, so I think I will save quotations for my Substack post that will go along with this video. So bookishprincess.substack.com if you want to hear more of the quotations. But I really liked that scene of Bryony talking to her pastor. He was a great character. Mary Stuart weaves in so many interesting references, just pops them in here and there to different books, and her main characters are obviously really well read and can quote poetry and reference historical facts, and I really liked that. She does suspense so well. You're left wondering, is it this, is it that? It's hard to put down because it's so exciting. Speaking of books that you're not sure you're gonna want to finish or not sure you're gonna be comfortable with, my Bookish Kingdom book club, which is just an online book club I do. We read a different book every month and then meet on Google Meet and discuss it. We did Jurassic Park, which I had done a poll at the end of last year to see what people wanted to read. And my brother, Athos, who loves dinosaurs, is a dinosaur expert. He also loves to read, though. I've done a little bookshelf tour with him here on my channel. He has so many cool old books, but he loves Jurassic Park and he had recommended it to me, so I like stuck it in the poll and tons of people voted for it. So I was like, okay, we'll do this as a fun summer read. I didn't really research it or anything, but then a couple of our book club members said that there was a little too much swearing and a little too much violence. So then I was like really nervous. Oh no, is this going to be terrible? When I picked it up, I felt like it was okay. Everybody has different comfort levels, and it is always important to listen to your conscience, and if a book is crossing the line, to just put it down and put it away. I felt like the swearing was all in context. None of it was like gratuitous or unnecessary. Like it was happening when someone was being chased by a T-Rex or eaten alive by a T-Rex. And the violence too, it was obviously there. But I felt that also was very restrained. It's like you would see the attack happening, acknowledge that it's happening, but then like you would look away and move to another scene. I thought Michael Crichton's storytelling and pacing was absolutely exceptional. Like just the pacing of this book, it was like a melody or music or a song, because like you'd have this like high action tense moment, and then you'd have a little bit of a calm down. You'd hop to this character, hop to that character. You'd have a sort of philosophical interlude. You'd have a sort of factual scientific interlude where you learn more about dinosaurs. I did not expect to love Jurassic Park as much as I did. I loved Grant. He's the main character. He's the paleontologist. Malcolm also. He is like into chaos theory and mathematics, and he like knows this experiment is doomed to failure, and the things he has to say about it are so interesting. Ellie also, she is like a paleobotanist, and the way she looks at plants points out, you know, most people think of plants as just a sort of green background. Actually, they're alive. They're fighting to be alive. They're like influencing the environment in so many ways. There were just so many interesting themes about like how to use scientific knowledge and like the limits of scientific knowledge and technology. And like justice too. Jurassic Park is pretty culturally well known. You probably know the plot line of it already. It's that some scientists found out how to clone dinosaurs, how to grow dinosaurs, and they created this little island theme park where people would theoretically go to visit the dinosaurs. And you'd think that someone along the way would have been like, actually, maybe we shouldn't be making these dinosaurs just for entertainment. Like maybe we should be more careful about it. But like no one along the way really said anything for their sort of abdication of responsibility along the way. They all kind of get their comeuppance. One of our book club members was talking about The Lost World, which is I guess a sequel. Now I kind of want to read that. Reading Jurassic Park when I was in DC, and I was visiting some museums, and I brought my Kindle to the National History Museum where the dinosaur wing, and I was sat on this bench like looking out at the fossils and reading Jurassic Park. It was like kind of the perfect place to read Jurassic Park. Another one of our book club picks from a little earlier this year was Pat of Silverbush. This is Ellen Montgomery. I know, Jurassic Park, Pat of Silverbush. It's fun to like throw in different things though for the book club. This month for July, we're reading Mansfield Park. Very excited for that. August, I'm pretty sure, is Teresa of Avila, The Way of Perfection, St. Teresa of Avila, so that should be lovely as well. But anyway, Pat of Silverbush, it's quite a different Ellen Montgomery from like say Anne of Green Gables. In some ways, this book moved very slowly and just not much happened. Like there's not much of a plot. It's really just Pat of Silverbush growing up. I feel like this cover actually is very, very misleading because she's like 7 when she starts and she's like 16 or 17, I think, maybe, when she finishes. So like they should have had a very little girl on the cover, although the cat, there are some great cat moments in this, which I absolutely loved. The character of Judy, she's like the Irish servant who's been with this family forever, knows everyone on the island, and she talks in dialect, but she has the smartest, funniest things to say. And she loves Pat especially. Pat she's not quite the youngest in the family. She does have some siblings. Her mom and dad are there. She loves her home so intensely. It's funny that a lot of Pat's family members, it felt like they never came alive as characters. There were certain characters that were really, really strong, like Pat herself and Judy, and Pat does eventually make some friends. They are really strong as characters, but her family just somehow never emerged as relatable characters. They were always a little bit in the background. And we were saying in the book club that this is sort of the perspective of a child. It's like Pat's perspective. Like she doesn't want anything to change. She loves everything so fiercely and really doesn't want anything to change. And lots of little things that happen are really important. And she dwells on them a lot or like worries about them a lot. And so you kind of are put into that mindset of a little kid. So it's not really as interesting as like Anne of Green Gables, where there's more action. It feels like more happens and there's more development. There's a little bit of character development for Pat, but it's very slow moving. So yeah, this was not one of my favorite Ellen Montgomery's. However, it did still have the charming anecdotes, fun, like Prince Edward Island, beautiful descriptions of nature, funny scenes, charming characters. Like there was still a lot to enjoy, even though I felt like it wasn't as strong as some of her other books. Don't look for quotations, Emma. We're gonna save the quotations for the Substack. This was another kind of random bookstore impulse buy, the Herbal Homestead Journal, Inspiration, Guidance, and Recipes to Build Your Herbal Homestead. It just sounded so interesting. I feel like that would be so great to know a little bit more about plants and like natural remedies. And it's got some like illustrations. And I think it's divided up by the year. Yeah, so it's divided up by month. So I just thought it'd be fun to check out at some point, as if I need more books to check out. I finished John Paul II's Love and Responsibility. It was really good, very dense, very slow going, very, very, very many quotations, which I could read you, but I will not. I will save my thoughts. From the back it says, Love and Responsibility answers the timeless question of the human heart. How can I find happiness in love? This groundbreaking book explains relationships between persons, especially concerning sexual ethics in the perspective of the true meaning of love, themes that Karol Wojtyla, now Blessed St. John Paul II, explored in his extensive pastoral work among young people and married couples. This work is complementary to Theology of the Body and is a must-read for those interested in understanding his thought more fully. I thought this was so beautiful, so well-grounded. It's like he looks at the problem of love, and especially, men and women and femininity and masculinity. He like just examines it carefully and like dispassionately, almost like just looking at it philosophically and like saying, oh, this is what these great thinkers have said about it. This is what today's thinkers say about it. This is why what today's thinkers say about it is wrong. And like it always has to be rooted in a love of God and a love of the Creator. Like that's what all love is aiming for. And so that's what all love has to be rooted in. He takes so many different words too, and I love how he defines them. Words like shame or chastity or purity. He looks at them in such a matter-of-fact, down-to-earth way that is just so necessary, because this is a touchy subject. It's also a private subject, but especially in today's world, people who don't have traditional values are very loud and vocal and about what they believe in, terms of sexuality. And if you are more traditional, like it's not something you want to talk about, but at the same time then out in the culture, like people don't hear John Paul II's like sensible, grounded version because people are hearing a lot of crazy talk. So maybe as Christians, we need to learn to talk about it reverently, but openly a little bit more. And I feel like John Paul II was the perfect person to teach us how to do it. I used to hear people talk about theology of the body, and I'm like, what is that? But actually, it's absolutely amazing. If you don't know about John Paul II's theology of the body, definitely pick up Love and Responsibility or find a book or a podcast about theology of the body. His view of masculinity and femininity is so beautiful. The way he talks about the feminine genius, it's just so powerful and true and rooted in God. And he explores so many different issues that are like so relevant to things that you'll see out in the world. So glad I picked this up and took my time getting through it. I think I started it like back in February. So I put down Pope Benedict XVI, Jesus of Nazareth, in order to finish Love and Responsibility. So now that I've finished that, hopefully I'll be able to start on this. Although I also have Teresa of Avila. I always say that part wrong. At some point, I want to get to this. We'll see. And this is another book that I randomly got recently. It's called Courtship of the Saints, How the Saints Met Their Spouses by Patrick O'Hearn. I'm about halfway through it, I think. It is really fun because oftentimes when you hear about Catholic saints, I'm a Catholic, of course. I love learning about the saints, reading the writings of the saints, but often when you hear about them, it's, priests and the popes and the nuns and those in religious life. Many saints throughout history have been called to the sacrament of marriage. Seeing how they kind of pursued sainthood through their marriage is really beautiful and is a fun theme that I hadn't really seen before. And yeah, I just love getting to know the different saints in here. All right, it's almost time for me to head to breakfast. The breakfast here is supposed to be really great, so I'm very excited to check it out. I think I'll wrap up this reading portion of the video here. Yeah, see, I just had like my bag and pillows stacked up to use as a tripod, but I'll give you guys a quick little tour of the room. Isn't this so pretty? With the little chandelier and the blue. I love these big round mirrors. I want big round mirrors for my house now. Yeah, we're right across from this opera house. house. This is such a cute town. All the like buildings are just adorable. Looking down the street there. And yeah, look at this wall. I don't think it's even wallpaper. I feel like it's, or maybe it is wallpaper. I can't tell, but it's like textured. It's so pretty. Very cute. Everything very Victorian in theme with the town. Plenty of art on the walls. Yeah, the fireplace is just one of my favorite things. So cool. The fireplace and the mirrors. Design goals. And the bathroom is very cute as well. Quick little look in here. Yeah, I love the kind of green scheme that they've got going on. I didn't end up using a robe, but I love that there are robes. Always gives me Disney concierge vibes. Very fun. Before I forget, we have to admire the doorknobs. I like this old-fashioned key. How cool is that? I love it. summer video out with a quick garden update. One of the most delightful plants to watch has been my fire poker plant, that orange plant. It's a perennial. I planted it last year. I was so delighted with how beautifully it came back and how many blooms it has sent up. And it has also attracted a new friend, a hummingbird. I could not believe that I got this clip. And the hummingbird was so close to me, and it was so fun to watch it picking the nectar out of the blooms. My gladiolus bulbs have also come up beautifully. They're always so colorful and bright. My dahlias are also coming along nicely. They're just kind of starting to flower. I bought a rose plant this year, and it was blooming beautifully when I first bought it. And then, all the pink flowers faded, and I thought, is this gonna come back? But it did come back, so that was very satisfying. My sunflowers have been coming along slowly. They've been a little bit of a struggle, but I actually just had my first sunflower bloom the other day, and hopefully I'll get plenty more going into August. I had so many problems last year with gophers, rabbits, birds, deer, who knows, eating my plants, so I just tried to protect everything really well this year. It's always so delightful, though, to spend time in my garden and see how the plants are doing. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me how your summer is going. Here's sending good wishes your way. Until the next time I see you, stay bookish. Bye, friends.